What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran, and we're going back to their 2000 album Pop Trash. We're getting close to the end of the album now, and a number of you pointed out last time that Kiss Goodbye is very like a short interlude sort of tune, so we're going to do a 2-for-1. We're going to listen to Kiss Goodbye and then Last Day on Earth. Kiss Goodbye, obviously, the phrase is pretty straightforward. It is a physical salutation given to someone upon leaving their company. Obviously, it could be a temporary parting, or it could be a more final parting. So obviously the difference between that could make a big difference in terms of the sort of nature or significance of the kiss in the moment. But given that I don't imagine there will be too many lyrics, there might actually be some, but if it is a very short interlude, then I imagine, it won't be so much about really sort of unwinding and sort of unweaving a theme and looking at all the different parts of it. So, yeah, I'm more inclined to think about the title for Last Day on Earth, which, that there's an ominous nature to that. There's a foreboding to it. Now, obviously, Last Day on Earth could relate to someone's life in particular, or, a group of people. If they knew, they were facing some terrible consequence or potential tragedy, or if someone's, lifespan was just about up, if, they were about to succumb to an illness, and, whether or not they, chose to, terminate their life. If the idea of deciding, or not deciding, but of knowing that the day that you are about to experience will be your last on Earth, would certainly affect the way you interact with that day, what you choose to do on that day. If you have 24 hours, to put everything right, or to perhaps pursue whatever indulgences you'd like to, satisfy yourself with. There could be any number of approaches, and obviously different personalities, different mindsets would approach the situation of having one day and one day only to continue living before you will cease to exist, and therefore anything that is not taken care of will remain undone. But it could also relate to Earth itself. The idea that whether through a comet making a catastrophic impact, or an asteroid more likely, or some other calamity, or whether through perhaps metaphysical purposes or reasons, everything could cease to exist on the planet. That would be the same sort of concerns and considerations, but taken to a orders of magnitude higher, in terms of now you are in a situation where everybody else will be making the same dire and extreme decisions. So yeah, I do wonder how it can manifest. I will say that, there's very few ways my brain can conceive of the phrase without thinking of some negative consequence or potential danger. So I suppose there could be a bittersweet or sentimental layer to the idea of, well, we gave it our best shot and we had a good run, but it's the last day on Earth, so let's enjoy and embrace it. But yeah, I feel like when people are faced with danger, fear and sort of desperation are more likely to manifest than wizened sentiment. So yeah, like I said, we'll have to see what the sonic atmosphere is, but my brain goes to sort of dangerous, unsettling places when I see the phrase Last Day on Earth. So let's get to it. And again, now that I say it, the sequence of tunes: The Sun Doesn't Shine Forever, Kiss Goodbye, Last Day on Earth. That's a remarkable sequence of phrases for titles consecutively in order. So that sounds redundant, right? Consecutively not in order. But yeah, it's a very interesting turn of phrase in time, or in sequence in the album. So I am thinking about it more now, and the unfolding of these tunes as they play out across the album. So yeah, let's get to it. This is Kiss Goodbye, followed by Last Day on Earth by Duran Duran on their 2000 album Pop Trash. Spacious. Little tension though.
Disneyland vibe. It's that wicked. Even the way he like did that vocal delivery. That cymbal there was nice. A bit psychedelic, like the Beatles at their weirdest. But the rest of this is another like, it's like Duran Smashing Pumpkins mashup. A lot of energy, a lot of drive. I think different people answer that question differently. I kiss you goodbye. Washed out vocals and like I think a synth line. The guitar like it's like a thicket of intense sounds. I had to like get my bearings. Like it blew me out of the water. Like the opening moment, I was not prepared for the way that began, relative to the sort of like smooth, a little tension filled, but also sort of like, you know, elegant and gliding Kiss Goodbye, and just launched into that sort of again like either fast sort of alternative rock or almost like, you know, almost like a pop punk sort of feel. Which again, I listen to a lot of punk rock, so. That's in no way like a disparaging comment whatsoever. I just mean to say, like, I thought it was going to be a little more floaty and perhaps build off the atmosphere that was set up in that tune, the Kiss Goodbye. But now I'm thinking Kiss Goodbye was a way to like transition out of The Sun Doesn't Shine Forever into a tune like that. So again, the album composition and sequencing, both, you know, thematically and sonically, shout out to that. It was really enjoyable. But yeah, so it took me a minute to kind of get my bearings with the tune, and you know, again, there were parts where it's like, oh, you know, this almost sounds like a, you know, like if Duran was doing a Smashing Pumpkins tune, but then there was that sort of like interlude where it kind of had, like I said, almost like a psychedelic feel because of the way they were singing, and it reminded me of like the trippier end of the Beatles catalog. But then there was that like stripped down musical interlude that came a little later, and I didn't like want to step on it, so I like waited. But again, it's another tune that reminded me of like, that section wouldn't be out of place on a track from Depeche Mode's Ultra album. Which again, I mentioned before, like Izzy commented very early on that Medazzaland had a similar sort of feel. I very much agree with that. And in that moment, I was picking up on that vibe. So there was a lot of different sort of like styles and kind of flavors that went into that tune, but I enjoyed it. I liked the energy, I liked the pace. I liked that it was sort of on the edge of almost sounding like punk rock, or again, sort of faster alternative rock. So yeah, cool tune. Admittedly, lyrically, I do have to listen more. I mean, I picked up on the main sort of theme, that, what would you do if you knew this was your last day on Earth? Like, what kind of choices would you make? Would they be about making sure that everyone else, experienced their last moments, as comfortably as possible? Would you try to, band together and help anyone who was going to be, in particular, like, trouble or danger because of their condition? Or, would you just, pursue your own enjoyments and indulgences, or, some combination thereof? Or would you simply, just try to hole up somewhere and somehow see if you could survive whatever the cataclysm was? There are all sorts of different choices I think people might make based on, personality and sort of their, understandings and thought processes and, level of critical thinking, whatever. But again, there's more clearly to the lyrics that I need to pick up on. So again, shout it out if you have an angle on that. Let me know what you think of the Sonics. When we come back to this album the next time, we will be up to a tune called Prototypes. Interested by the title. Prototype relates to a sort of working model that might be established in a more standardized form, and whether released for like professional use or commercial purchase. So yeah, we'll have to see what type of prototype we're referring to, but we'll talk more about that when we get to that one. Let me know what you think of this. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.